Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Built for the Stage podcast. This is Joe Roscoe, founder and host of Built for the Stage, Broadway's #1 fitness platform. If you haven't tried out Built for the Stage yet, go to builtforthestage.com and we'll be on our way to a 1-week free trial, builtforthestage.com. All right, let's move on to our special guest. Keep that intro brief. Get right into who we are here for. Our guest is all the way over in Australia. It's currently 10 a.m. there and 6 p.m. here on the East Coast. If you were to watch TV and know anything about any type of show, she's probably been on it. So she's been in Dancing with the Stars, The Voice, Australia, The Masked Singer, Australia's Got Talent. Did I miss any of them? Yeah, like any who's who of TV shows, she's been on it. She's currently the dance captain of Hamilton in Australia. Also been seen in shows like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Dirty Dancing, We Will Rock You. A lot of favorites. Dance captain and American Idiot. So this guest, is obviously amazingly talented. And they have the cutest dog ever, which makes them the most valuable of guests. So please welcome to the podcast, Kyla Bartholomeusz. Kyla, hello.
What an intro.
Hey, I do my best. I've done a lot of them, and I have to, like you deserve it. You deserve it.
Thank you.
So, 10 a.m. You're drinking coffee. We got black coffee. We got cream and sugar. How are we taking our coffee?
I have a black coffee with honey, a lot of honey. Yeah,
Okay.
would be honey and everything, honestly.
In your coffee, not in tea.
No, not in tea.
I've heard of and I've done the butter in coffee, but never have I done honey in coffee.
You should try it. Are you a coffee drinker?
Oh, way too much actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. So the honey just like takes out the bitterness. If you're getting a coffee from McDonald's, no shade, or if you're getting a coffee from a place that you maybe aren't sure of, honey will just like take away the bitterness and it's perfect. So you can have this type of coffee literally anywhere, on the road, on the side of the road, at the airport. Highly recommend it. That's my travel tip for you.
Okay, I'm on it.
Okay.
If I'm traveling, I'll go for a Red Bull before I'll ever drink McDonald's coffee, but I'll put some honey in my coffee tomorrow. We'll see.
Try it. Let me know.
Okay, so let's just. I didn't expect to jump into this, but as I was just doing some research on you and saw all those TV shows listed, same producing team for all of these TV shows. How did you line up every single one of them?
It's funny because I consider myself to be bi-coastal in Australia, so I equally jump between Sydney and Melbourne when I'm not in a show, in a contract, because you have to go where the work is. And I've been very lucky to have little guest spots on all of these shows whenever they come to Australia, whenever they need dancers. I've been super, super blessed to be a part of these shows in a small way or a big way. So Dancing with the Stars was just dancing in one of the finale numbers, which I was obsessed with because I love ballroom dancing, and I faked it till I made it. I'm not a professional ballroom dancer, but I love that world so much. So to be a part of the finale routine for that show was an actual dream come true for me. And yeah, other guest spots like AGT and The Masked Singer and everything like that, it's just been really good opportunities to have a dance and be where the work is, truly.
Yeah. The commercial, you listed a commercial for Bumble. Is this the dating app?
Yes.
It's hilarious. Wait, okay, so how was the context of the commercial? What did you have to do?
It was just me and one other guy, but it was basically to capture how it would feel before you go on a first date. So dancing around the house, in your own vibe. It was really fun because the whole day was mostly me dancing. So by the end of the day, I was wrecked. And it turned out so well, the whole ad, to the point where it was only meant to be on socials and on the website. But the Bumble team loved it so much, they ended up putting it on TV. So it got an extra run after that, which was awesome. So awesome. Yeah. And all of my friends who were on the app would always screenshot me in the ads. They're like, oh, hi, are you on Bumble? I'm like, I'm not, but I am on the ads.
That's similar. We have a friend here on Broadway, Adam Perry. He was in like just a print ad for some type of hair dye product for men, facial and hair. I can't remember what. But anytime you walk through a farm, okay, the dog walker's here. The dog walker's here, yay! Come on in.
Okay. Hi, this is my dog walker Eva. She owns a company called Cozy Place. She saves my life.
Let's go. What's the company called?
Cozy Place.
Okay. Any listeners out there?
I'm promoting you, Eva. Come and say hi. Come and say hi. So Eva picks up Yindi from Tuesday to Friday and takes her on dog walks with her friends.
Yay. Okay.
Without Eva, I would be screwed.
I'm telling you, I have to walk my dogs 4 times a day. They're not indoor dogs from pit bull. So I love this. It's great. Can we have every episode have a dog break in it? That'd be amazing.
She's have the best day.
Yeah, it's really good. Your name is coming up. I was like, okay, I just hear music, and I was like, is that?
No, it's not here.
Bye. Come on, let's go. Come on.
She wants pats. Yeah. Can you see what this dog is doing?
She's probably thinking, are you gonna bring me back late?
Sorry, give me 2 seconds.
Come on, let's go. Bye. Come on, let's go. I'm gonna go without you.
Thanks, Eva. Have fun. Off she goes.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No problem. No problem. I lost you for a second on my connection. So, okay, cool. So, dog walk is okay. So the Bumble, oh yeah, Adam Perry. So when we go through like a pharmacy or a Walmart or whatever, where those are on the shelf, we have to take like you got to take the photo and you got to post it on Instagram and tag Adam Perry in it. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Okay, so let's rewind. You're dancing from the very beginning. When did you start dancing and doing this whole performance thing? Did you have a choice in the matter?
I did actually. I chose dancing. So what happened was when I was really young, my sisters and aunties and grandmas and everyone all did Highland dancing. Do you know what Highland dancing is?
No.
Like Scottish dancing.
Okay.
Right, like in kilts and everything like that. So I was sort of brought into the Highland dancing world and loved it. Just wanted to do it because my sister was doing it, my cousins were doing it, just that sort of FOMO situation. And then I actually found music from when I was in grade 6. So that means I was 12 years old. I started playing the alto saxophone. So growing up, I played alto saxophone, did all of my exams, did exams 1 to 8, then picked up the flute and the clarinet. So my trajectory was going to be being in orchestras and bands and in the woodwind section. And then I wasn't really dancing at all, at all. I was mostly playing music. And then my cousin took me to Justin Timberlake's Future Sex Love Sound when it was in Australia. And it honestly changed my life because I was young, I was 14, and I've never seen anything like it in my life. And still to this day, it's the best concert I've ever seen. If I ever see Justin Timberlake, I'm going to thank him. And at the end of the concert, I said to my cousin, I'm like, that's what I want to do. I want to be one of the dancers. And then I started to find little dance schools around Geelong, which is where I grew up. And that's when I started to dance. I only really started in hip hop and jazz. But I loved it so much. It gave me more joy than what music did. I was a little bit burnt out by the end of when I was 18. I was burnt out from music. I was so sick of doing exams. I didn't really want to sit in a dark orchestra pit or sit in a rehearsal room by myself for 8 hours a day practicing. But I was a really bad dancer. I had no technique. I had stage presence, but I wasn't a prima ballerina. I just loved it. I think that's the thing that got me through. When I was on stage, I loved it. Whether I was good or not, I don't think I was. But and then I auditioned for a dance school in Melbourne called Jason Coleman's Ministry of Dance. And I got in and I couldn't believe it. And I gave up music, much to my teachers and music teachers and parents' sort of dismay. And I followed my heart in a major way because I knew that I was good at music, but it wasn't making me happy. And I wasn't very good at dancing, but it made me happy. So I followed that dream and worked extra hard because I realized really quickly when I got into full-time, which is uni, that I wasn't not good. And if I wanted to be as good as the people that were good, I would have to put in multiple hours before and after. And that is literally what I did. I just worked my ass off for 2 years to mimic and copy and try and be like that person or be like that person, without any real foundation for ballet or jazz.
When did you stop copying and start moving and creating your own kind of brand or style?
It's a really good question. It was pretty quickly. It was when I discovered that I was never going to be like that person that I admired. I had to find the thing that made me special, the thing that people would want to hire me for me. And it was pretty much after my first year of full-time, after learning all the fundamentals, after being the worst person in the group, being in the bottom level of everything, being in the bottom level of jazz and ballet and like literally everything. And after my first year, I sort of discovered that, this is the thing that makes me special is I move very differently. I feel music differently. I look different. And I leaned into that very quickly after my first year. I got a scholarship for the second year of my time at ministry. So that's when I sort of owned what it was to be me.
When you were at the bottom, that like you were saying, what person or like growing up, like background wise, how were you okay with that? Or were you not? How was that time of feeling like you were, the last in line type of deal?
It's funny because when I look back at like level 3, which is what we were, so it was like 3, 2, 1, and all of the people in level 3, I have no negative feelings in there because it was nothing to prove and everything to gain. We had only improvement to go. It was a really special group because I feel like we were really nurtured because we had nothing to lose, basically. And I remember everyone in that group, and we all worked really hard for and with each other. And it was this real team experience because we all wanted to be in level 1, but we were in level 3. So it was almost like we had to work extra hard to be noticed, be seen, be the level that we wanted to be. And I just remember it being a real like team building experience. And all the teachers that came into level 3, it sounds bad, but it was really fun. We just worked extra hard.
Yeah. Okay, so was there a moment where you had a breakthrough of like turning the corner of not feeling like a level 3 dancer and really catching your stride? Or was it just literally day in and day out of consistent hard work and extra work that finally just kind of compiled into your surgence as a excellent, premier dancer?
one memory that came into mind straight away, and I don't know if this is the memory, but it came first. We, at the end of our, uni, there's these big showcases that happen at the end of year, and everyone works as a team to put on one big show. So like all the levels come together. The second years were doing this big, amazing opening number with a table, and there was flips and all. It was amazing. And I remember watching it thinking, these dancers are phenomenal. And one of the dancers couldn't be there for some reason for one of the rehearsals. And Jason Coleman, who's the owner of the school, said, does anyone know this track? And because I watched it so much, I was like, I know it. I don't know where I got the confidence to do that, but I did. I knew it, and I stepped in and I did it. And I remember after that rehearsal, I was like, I just did a dance with these students and people that I absolutely admire. And I remember being like, okay, I can do this, I think. And then I started to book gigs with people, again, that I admired and people in the industry. And slowly and surely, I was like, okay, I think I can do this and make money from this career. I don't think I need a backup plan at this point.
Okay. So wait, what was your backup plan?
Going back to music.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you had this little moment of bravery to step out of the line and say, I can do it.
Yeah.
A transformational moment. When did because we're just talking about dance right now. When did musical theater start to be a part of all of this?
Early. So we used to, I grew up in a town called Geelong, which is an hour from the city, from Melbourne. And for every birthday or, some kind of big present, us three kids, my older sister, me and my younger brother, would always want to go see the shows in Melbourne, like the musicals. So I remember seeing The Sound of Music and Miss Saigon and Oh What a Night and all these amazing shows. And I was so lucky that my parents also loved it. So we would always have outings in Melbourne to go see music theatre. So from a very young age, I wanted to do musical theatre. And in Geelong, they had amateur theatre. So, I was part of the amateur theatre shows in Geelong as well, with my parents on lighting and, very, very wholesome things. So I loved doing musicals from a really young age, just at Geelong, in Geelong, and seeing them. I remember always walking out of a show just being like, imagine having a job like that. These people, this is their job. Imagine that. This is what they get to do every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a nice reminder, even just talking to you now. I'm like, that little girl will be screaming right now.
Good. I'm glad you're having that moment, and I hope everyone listening takes the moment as well to kind of look back, because if you're listening, you might be in a place where you don't love it right now, but if you look back, you might wish you were in the place you are in right now. So that's a good reminder. So what was your first big musical theater break? What was your first big show that you booked to start out your career?
It was Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was my first show.
Okay.
And it was the second cast. So they had to do a recast for Perth and Brisbane. I think they were just losing some ensemble members. And Dana Jolie was my jazz teacher. She was also the choreographer in that show. And she knew I was desperate to do a musical. I was auditioning for everything, getting to the end-ish or the end of most things I auditioned for and never booking it, being too green, being too young, who knows, such a jigsaw puzzle. And I remember this is years before Chitty was auditioning. And I was like, I'm never getting a musical. I don't know what to do. What can I do? And she's like, you just need to do class every day. So I ended up taking her advice and doing her class, obviously, but doing a lot of other classes. And when it came time to doing it and booking it, I remember just like giving her the biggest hug ever. And I was like, thank you so much, one, for giving me the opportunity to have a musical, you know, and two, giving me that advice to just do class every day.
Okay, cool. All right, very cool. Let's before we jump into Hamilton and your experience with that right now, let's jump into a fun little BFTS hot seat, something I do with all of our guests to kind of shake it up.
Okay, let's do it.
Don't be nervous, but it's super fun. So, all right. So our hot seat's gonna start with our first question. Should we put on some music? Sometimes I put on some music. Let's see.
Do it.
Okay. Question number one. You walk into a room and the TV's on and there's a movie playing. And you've seen this movie hundreds of times. But no matter how many times you've seen the movie, you just have to stop and watch it. What is that movie for you?
Love Actually.
Yeah, okay. It's a good one. It's holiday themed, right? Love Actually.
Yes.
Okay.
I actually haven't watched it yet this year, so it's on the list.
Okay, perfect timing coming up for you. All right. What is your favorite and most prized possession?
Yindy.
Oh, there you
My
go.
dog.
You know what? I thought not living possession. I know it's a difficult one.
I don't want to say the wrong thing.
We could just say it's a top 5, and if you forgot something else, we can have the excuse that it's top 5 and not the most.
Okay, my most prized possession is my grandmother's rings.
Oh, that's a great one. It's a great one. Okay.
That's why I needed to think. I was like, I know it's there.
Right. You don't want to make someone mad. Saying,
well, I didn't want to say my coffee machine, which is just right there when it's actually not.
There we go. All right. So you're reincarnated on the earth. You come back as an animal. Which animal are you going to be and why?
I would want to be a dog that is part of my family because those dogs are spoiled, rotten.
Right. Okay. Good answer. All right. You could be any role in musical theater, any role. There are no boundaries. You can be whoever you want to be. What role are you going to be?
Fiyero in Wicked.
Oh. Can you tell us why? Why Fiyero?
I think he has some of my favorite vocal lines, and just I think that track and that role is so fun. The swagger and getting to do duets and singing, and like I think it's awesome.
Okay, sweet. You can only do one exercise for the rest of your life, and you have to do it every single day. Which exercise are you going to do?
Okay, are we talking like
Anything.
Genre?
It could no, like the specific movement. It could be running, it could be a squat, it could be a box jump, it could be rowing.
Swimming, does that count?
Yeah. Okay, swimming. All right, that's good for the joints, nice full body workout, good for breathing, cardiovascular. Okay, I'm with that.
Meditative.
I'm with it.
Perfect.
You have a time last question. You have a time machine, and you have the ability to go to any place during any time. Where are you going to be, and what time period is it going to be?
I would love to see Elvis perform live, and I want to be in the front row.
Okay, and are you
in his prime?
Are you also a performer, or are you like, what's your who are you in that time?
Can I go there as me now?
Sure, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I want to transport just to watch a live show in the front row, scream my head off, and then come back.
Okay, I'm with you. All right, cool. Hot seat. That was fun. Okay. Hamilton. So you're in Hamilton. You're the dance captain. The choreography in Hamilton is just historical. The story, no pun intended. The storytelling within the movement itself is truly like you literally transport us from moment to moment within the show with the movement on stage. Um, Tell us about like the audition process for that when you were first starting out, because I know over here, and I'm sure maybe it's the same there. They have like they call it Hamilton Camp or some type of like thing you go through before the audition process, and how they're
Yeah.
very particular about like we don't care if you're the best dancer or we don't. You have to like quote unquote get it. They say this a lot, like oh they get it. What is? Tell us a little bit about that whole beginning process.
Well, our Australian company had a very interesting journey with Hamilton because we started before the pandemic, right? So we started auditioning pre-pandemic, and it was in total, I auditioned for Hamilton for 18 months. Wow. On and off. So it was a very big process. And when COVID hit, it sort of threw everything, a spanner in the works for the entire world. And instead of getting to do our boot camp, so I got to the point where I was accepted into boot camp, right? And there's a lot of people that I knew that were going to boot camp. And then major lockdowns and, the world shutting down, we didn't actually get to do our boot camp, which is a shame because it would have been really helpful, for everyone. Instead, everything went online and everything turned into Zooms and audition tapes and everything like that. So it was a tough one because obviously it was my top 3 musicals ever to do, and it was getting more and more disheartening the more the pandemic went on. And then they brought out the Disney Plus version, and I was like, great, they're probably doing that because they're never going to open it here, And I remember watching the Disney Plus like this because I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if music theatre was ever going to recover, if the show was ever going to come to Australia. It was really up in the air. And so much time had passed and I kept talking myself in and out of it, like don't get your hopes up and don't get too excited. And then some days I'd be like, but maybe, and it was quite tough. So after my final audition tape was sent through, like, don't know, who knows? Everyone was saying that it was still going ahead, but, I was very skeptical. And I remember finding out one day after going to the physio, actually, in Sydney, and it was just the biggest relief. I burst into tears because I didn't think it was going to happen for anyone, and finding out that it was happening and that I got in was the biggest relief. That's truly like the first thing I felt. I was like, I can stop thinking about it. I can stop stressing about it. I can just accept that it's going to happen. And it was so exciting. So we didn't actually get to do boot camp, which is such a shame, but it all worked out in the end.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You started, you opened, and then you had lockdowns, right? You had you were excited, and then they took it away, and now you've been back ever since. What was that like? How about you locked down and you come back? What was that like as a dance captain? Was everyone still like on it, or did you all have some brushing up to do before getting it back on its feet?
So at this point of the Hamilton process, when we were in Sydney, I wasn't actually a dance captain. We had the amazing Kim, who's on Broadway currently. She came from Broadway to put up the company for us. So I was doing my Woman One ensemble track. Which was enough, enough for me, because honestly, like coming back from COVID no one talks about it really, but it was like 0 to 1,000, going straight into rehearsals every day, putting on the show, opening night, like tech, everything. It was like by the time we got to when Sydney shut down again, went into lockdown, I was so relieved. Oh my gosh, I was so tired. I'm like, I needed that break, to be honest. Desperately. I needed to regroup. And in those 4 months of lockdown in Sydney, I had the best time. It was just me and my dog. I did Pilates 3 times a week. I was eating food and getting up to a weight that was healthy again, because, you know, you shed so much weight and you don't have time to do anything else when you're in rehearsal mode and tech mode, and like it's just go, 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 you know, especially putting up Hamilton for the first time in Australia. There was a lot of press, there was a lot of extra things outside of just doing the shows. Also trying to figure out how to do the show 8 times a week. Like it was huge. So the lockdown for me was actually a blessing in disguise, because I actually got to come back fitter and healthier than I've ever been. And so getting the show back on its feet, they were really kind to us. We had rehearsals over Zoom leading up to. Then when we went into the theatre again, it's almost like we re-teched it again, just to remind ourselves what it was, what's happening. So our creative team were really gentle and kind to us.
Yeah.
And I remember when we did Yorktown again for the first time after those 4 months, we were all just like crying, because we were like, okay, it's happening again. And it was really beautiful. So I really needed it. And yeah, we've been going ever since. And it sort of taught me like what I need to do and what I need to eat and how I need to exercise and how I need to give myself time to be able to do the show again.
Yeah.
So I became dance captain in Melbourne when Kim left. And yeah, it's been a learning experience ever since. Every day I learn something new. And being an onstage dance captain, I only knew my plot. So learning every single other plot as well as doing the shows has been really challenging. But every day when I learn something new, it's just like more and more to add to the dance captain brain. I'm also extremely lucky. I've got 2 other dance captains. So the 3 of us, we coexist and we help each other every day. Nice. And without those 2 people, and it would be impossible. It's such a massive show. We need all hands on deck at all times. So yeah.
Okay, last 2 questions and then we'll let you go. Appreciate your time. So Hamilton in the U.S. obviously historically means a lot, because it's about the revolt against Britain and the whole shebang. Now I just saw it in the West End in London. Obviously, that historically means something totally different, being on the other side of it. In Australia, when y'all found out like you would be putting on Hamilton, you would have the opportunity to be in the show as a cast, or even like maybe the spectators, the patrons that come. What is it like? What does it mean to you, Hamilton? Is it just like, oh, this is Lin-Manuel's masterpiece? Or if I frame that question good enough,
well, firstly, are you going to come watch it in Australia? That's my first question.
Secretly, I haven't said this publicly, but yeah, it is my intent to come to Australia. So as long as you're still open by the time I get there, I'll be there for sure.
Okay, perfect. Great. Let me know. I'll get you a ticket.
Okay.
Let me answer your question. The audiences here are fans. You know, all of us are fans, even the people in the show. It is a masterpiece. So we're very lucky to have a full ham fan base here already. As for the people who aren't mega fans, it has been received so well. Like my grandparents have come to see it, and they love the King, and it's hilarious. It also looks very different here. Australia is hugely multicultural, and we were lucky enough to have a lot of Indigenous First Nations people in our company too. So it's really been incredible the way that Australia has embraced this show. I had no fears to begin with, but it looks different, it feels different, and it is different, but it's still telling the story in such a beautiful way.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that makes me very intrigued. There was subtle differences, not a ton, but between the West End and Broadway cast. So okay, I'll have to round it out and make sure I get to Australia to see the show. Last question, not a it's not like a backup plan or a whatever kind of question, but like, who is Kyla off the stage? Do you have other interests? Would you be a veterinarian? Do you love I don't know, sewing? Like who are you off the stage?
Usually I am living in the ocean. If you're not seeing me, it's kind of difficult in Melbourne because I'm not close to an ocean, but I love being outside in the sun with my dog. I love the ocean. So that is where you'll see me in my downtime. If I had to have a quote unquote backup plan, I would love to work with animals. And I think I will at some point, so you nailed it.
Yeah.
I'd love to like rescue dogs or work at a shelter or open my own shelter or just rescue animals. I love cows. I love dogs. I love all animals. So that'll definitely be something in my future for sure, because it makes me so happy.
Nice. All right. Well, you got another fan here. I'm leading the charge. So thanks so much, Kyla, for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I have loved it.
All right, everyone. That's Kyla Bartholomeusz. Make sure you give her a follow, Kyla Louise B. That's going to be in the description of this episode. Kyla, we'll see you later.
Bye. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Joe Roscoe here with Built for the Stage. Make sure you check out that free trial. Kyla's awesome. Give her a follow. She deserves it. I don't know if that's whatever. Give her a follow. She's the best. She started out her morning with us, and I'm going to get off here as quick as I can because I'm a mumbling mess. Check out this video. Talk to you later. Actors are athletes. Train like one. Bye.